killed these girls was familiar with his area.
Right.
To go and keep coming back virtually unnoticed.
Almost 1 year ago, retired homicide detective Gary Britton and I went to Gilgo Beach on Long Island on the trail of the Long Island serial killer. Authorities had found at least 10 bodies scattered along the side of a windy beachfront highway, the work, they believe, of that serial murderer. The mystery remained. Who murdered women, some of whom were selling their bodies on Craigslist, and dumped them along Ocean Parkway? What we didn't know at the time was that there was another storm brewing on Gilgo Beach, and another angle to focus on: police corruption.
Sometimes a psychopath rises to the top.
James Burke was the colorful and powerful former chief of the Suffolk County Police Department.
He was a thug. You know, he was like a dictator, and if you didn't like you were out. But if he liked you, you got all the overtime in the world, you were the king, you were everything.
Robert Trotta is today a Suffolk County legislator. Before being elected in 2013, he served alongside Burke as a Suffolk County detective. Burke rose to become chief in 2012, when the investigation into the serial killer murder was at its height. He resisted bringing in the FBI to assist local authorities in identifying the serial killer, and now we know why: for his own protection. In November, Burke was sentenced to 4 years in prison for the beating of a suspect who had stolen his gun belt and sex toys from Burke's SUV. Burke also pleaded guilty to getting fellow officers to lie about the beating.
I was a New York City cop.
Okay.
63.
Okay.
And what I saw in my time is Suffolk County is what we were 50 years ago.
So pre-Serpico. But just last week we found that the corruption investigation may go even deeper than we initially thought. Buried in a filing to expunge the conviction of the man Burke beat, Christopher Loeb, Loeb's attorneys say numerous other cops have been indicted and pleaded guilty, and that their files are sealed as the investigation is still ongoing.
If you would have been telling me this 2 years ago, I would have thought he'd be in a loony bin.
Okay.
But now?
Incredibly, a witness had come forward that may shed new light and connect it all.
I remember hearing that he was high up, and I figured, all right, this is my opportunity for, you know, a PBA card.
Leanne says she's worked as an escort in Suffolk County, and that she encountered Burke during a party in the same neighborhood where Shannon Gilbert disappeared, just 1 year after Shannon had gone missing. According to Leanne, Burke forced her to have rough sex with him before throwing $300 her way. It's the first time anyone has sought to connect Burke, money for sex, and the neighborhood near Oak Beach where Shannon disappeared.
He's moved into the circle of suspects for the death of Shannon Gilbert.
Ray represents the family of Shannon Gilbert, a Craigslist escort whose disappearance in 2010 was the catalyst for the entire investigation. Bodies of women, a toddler, a man, and body parts were found while police were searching for Shannon, and a year and a half later they found Shannon too. It's never been clear whether Shannon was murdered by the serial killer or not, but Ray is waging a one-man crusade to bring Shannon's killer to justice.
It's like peeling back an onion. We're getting to the middle. We're going to see some serious stuff. I'm afraid to say it, and I'm embarrassed to say it, but you know, it's a possibility that these guys may be involved in this.
Now, Burke's attorney, Joseph Conway, has said that he refuses to dignify these new accusations against his client with so much as a response. But I needed to look into this further, and I needed Gary with me. One issue: Gary didn't want to fulfill his usual role and drive. And you're sure you don't want to drive?
Positive, why?
It's just very unlike you.
Why?
You always want to drive.
I'm looking forward to relaxing.
Okay.
Let's slide. Go, 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 go. I told you you should have driven.
Gary and I headed back to Suffolk County, where we would talk to Ray and try to find out more about James Burke.
I would bet a good steak dinner that at least one of those gals that were murdered, he was with at one time.
So I decided to put my money and my mouth together and talk to John Ray over a steak dinner at Pace's Steakhouse in Hauppauge, Long Island.
I'm not massaging the facts into an exciting personal story. This really happened.
It was more of him grabbing me in an aggressive manner.
I have that testimony. I have that information.
Burke's attorney said that Burke never had any encounters with any of the Gilgo victims, and that anybody trying to tie Burke to the Gilgo murders is just being preposterous. Soon, our investigation was heading down lanes I could not have foreseen.
She stabs her over 200 times and then tries to cut her head off.
Did they stop? Why would they stop? I think it's a general consensus that a serial killer just doesn't stop.
He was born a rat. Will always be a rat.
And possibly taking Gary and I back to our initial investigation into Atlantic City's eastbound strangler.
How many times have you heard the phrase, the cover-up is worse than the crime?
Yeah. From you? Once a day.
Exactly.